As we design courses and think about what we want learners to take away from the process, we want to keep the end in mind by first establishing the final outcomes, and these are generally written as learning objectives. The concept of objectives and the modern utilization of them in instructional design is generally credited to the work of Robert Mager and his publication, Preparing Instructional Objectives. It was at this point that a focus on outcomes and the complexity of designing learning became a foundational principle in our work as teachers. It is now considered essential to both write objectives and also design assessment tasks. In this way, we are assured that our intended exit competencies for learners are consistent with our stated objectives. This is called performance agreement, but more about that key instructional design concept later in this module. It is also important to remember that learning objectives are not goals. This difference is an important consideration in our work. Goals are general statements of expected outcomes that have no real specificity or detail as it relates to learning. In contrast, learning objectives are detailed blueprints on how we as teachers are designing learning interactions. Now let's take a look at the essential elements contained in each objective we write. While objectives can be written in several different ways, the most common format is using the elements of audience, behavior, condition, and degree. These are referred to as the A, B, C, D elements, and is the format we will be using. The audience element of an objective is the intended learner population. In our higher education context, this is typically a course name and number, along with the term learner or student. For example, the EDU 671 learner. The behavior element is the specifics of what we expect each learner to be able to accomplish at the end of a course or module. For example, we'll be able to list the reasons objectives are critical in higher education course design. Conditions in behavioral objectives are what are given to learners to support their mastery of the objective. For example, given readings from the text, a video presentation, and both synchronous and asynchronous discussion board exercises, the degree element of an objective represents the mastery level expected of each learner when evaluated. For example, citing at least 3 examples. Objectives are often written in C, A, B, D order, but this is entirely your choice. Broken into our 4 elements, it looks like this. Condition. Given readings from the text, a video presentation, and both synchronous and asynchronous discussion board exercises. Audience. The EDU 671 learner. Behavior. We'll be able to list why objectives are critical in higher education course design. Degree, citing at least 3 examples. This is how our 4-part objective will be written in this format. Given readings from the text, a video presentation, and both synchronous and asynchronous discussion board exercises, the EDU 671 learner will be able to list why objectives are critical in higher education course design, citing at least 3 examples. As we begin to look at objectives, just remember that while these may appear as somewhat complicated, if this is your first exposure to them, you will soon be very comfortable writing and using objectives in your work.